Hi everyone, welcome to Dentozen. Continuing with our lectures on periodontal ligament, today we are going to cover the fibers of periodontal ligament, which can be an important long question for you. So let's start. Before starting, quickly subscribe to Dentozen if you have not done that till now. Also give a like to this video as I keep making interesting videos for you. So we have already covered periodontium and PDL in first video, then we have covered cells of periodontal ligament in second video, and in this video we are going to cover fibers and principal fibers of PDL in detail. So fibers of PDL, there are so many, but don't get scared by the names. Like there are collagen fibers which are present in the form of bundles, the Sharpey's fibers which are the ends of these collagen fibers in the cementum and bone, then intermediate plexus which is present in the mid zone of the periodontal ligament space is in the form of a network again made up of collagen fibers, elastic fibers made up of elastin, reticular fibers, then there can be secondary fibers and indifferent fiber plexus, again these are made up of collagen fibers. So basically we can have, there are three types of fibers: collagen fibers, elastic fibers and reticular fibers. Now let's talk about these fibers one by one. First is collagen fibers, the main fibers of PDL, mainly type 1 collagen 70% and type 3 20%, but there can be small amounts of type 5 and type 6 and traces of type 4 and type 7. Now these collagen fibers are present in bundles which are about 5 microns in diameter and they run a wavy course. So they are the most important elements of PDL and they are continuously remodeled to adapt the stresses. So there are main 5 groups of these bundles of PDL which are known as principal fiber groups of periodontal ligament, and that is your important long question for your exam. So let's start with the principal fibers of PDL. So there are 5 groups. The first one is alveolar crest, as they are attached to the crest of the alveolar bone, that is the peak of the alveolar bone. Second one is horizontal, they are running horizontally, so they are called horizontal. Oblique fibers, they run in an oblique direction from the cementum to the bone. Then there are apical fibers which are present in the apical end of the root of the tooth, and the interradicular fibers which are present in between the roots, that is in the multi-rooted teeth. So all of these fibers, they start from cementum and they are inserted onto the bone. So let's talk about each group one by one. First is the alveolar crestal fiber. As the name says, they are attached to the alveolar crest. So they are lying just beneath the junctional epithelium. This is the junctional epithelium, that is the epithelium which attaches the tooth, and below that these fibers are present. So they are starting from the cementum just below cemento-enamel junction. This is the cemento-enamel junction and that is the origin, and they go downwards and outwards and then they get inserted over to the alveolar crest. So that is the insertion. These fibers can also pass over the alveolar crest, as you can see here in this region, and there they can get attached to the periosteum of the bone, that is outermost layer, it's fibrous layer. So there can be 2 attachments. Then these fibers prevent the tilting of the tooth, intrusion of the tooth, extrusion of the tooth and rotational movements of the teeth. So their incision do not significantly increase the tooth mobility, that is if they are inside, they are cut, the tooth mobility will not be affected. So they can be confused with dentoperiosteal fibers of gingiva which may be present there. So that is first group. Second is horizontal, as the word says, they run in an horizontal direction and they are limited to coronal 1/4 of the periodontal ligament space. Coronal 1/4 of the space, that can be important entrance question. So they start from the cementum apical to the alveolar crest fibers, that is apical to the first group of fibers, and then they run straight, that is right angles to the tooth long axis, and get inserted over to the alveolar bone. So these fibers prevent 2 types of movement: horizontal movement of the tooth and tipping of the tooth. Tipping and horizontal movement. So they help in maintaining the mesiodistal width of the periodontal ligament. Next is the oblique fibers. As the name says, they run obliquely, but what is their oblique direction? That is very important. So they occupy 2/3 of the periodontal ligament space, so much of the periodontal ligament space. So don't you think they are the most numerous fibers? Yes, and they are the largest group of PDL principal fibers. That can be viva question. They are the most abundant principal fiber groups. Now what is their direction? They start from cementum in an apical location, that is towards the apex, and they attach onto the bone in the more coronal location, that is towards the crown. Very important, their direction. It is not other way around, so don't get confused. Apical of the cementum to the coronal of the bone. Now they can prevent intrusion of the tooth and they transform all the vertical masticatory stresses into the tension onto the alveolar bone. So that is how they help in bearing the stress, vertical masticatory stresses. Next is apical group. As the name says, they are present at the apex of the root of the tooth, that is root tip. So do you think they will be present on incompletely formed roots where tip is not there? No, they are not seen in incompletely formed roots, and that can be your entrance question. And they start from the cementum at the apex of the tooth root and they fan out irregularly to get attached to the fundus of the bone, fundus of the socket of the bone. that is this part of the bone. So they prevent the luxation of the tooth, that is complete removal of the tooth from the socket, and tipping movement of the tooth. So they also protect the delicate blood vessels which are present in the apical region, lymph vessels and nerves. So they may have two functions, that is they are protecting against these forces and protecting the blood vessels, lymph vessels and nerves. Next is interradicular, as the word says, in between the roots. So they are seen in multi-rooted teeth in furcation areas where the roots divide. So they start from the interradicular septum. In between the roots there is a septum of bone. From there it starts and goes to the attached to the cementum in the furcation region. So they prevent the tipping forces, torquing forces and luxation of the tooth. So they are lost in cases of gingival recession. If the gingiva is receded, so this area will get exposed, furcation is exposed. They also get lost when there are chronic inflammatory diseases of the PDL. Now coming to another group, that is transseptal fibers, which may be sometimes considered in both gingiva as well as in PDL. So they extend interproximally. Inter means in between the proximal surfaces of the teeth over the alveolar crest. So they are running above the alveolar crest, embedded in the cementum of the adjacent teeth. So they are starting from the cementum of one tooth going above the alveolar crest and getting attached to the cementum of the adjacent teeth. So they are called transseptal fibers. So they are a remarkable constant finding. They are always seen. They are reconstructed even after the destruction of alveolar bone in the periodontal disease. Next is the diagrams that we need to know how to draw these diagrams for these 5 major groups. So the first will show the 3 major groups. So we'll draw the outlines of the root, outline of the bone and outline of the gingiva, because in between these areas we have to draw the PDL fibers. So we'll draw the gingiva, the junctional epithelium which is close to the tooth, and the gingival epithelium with all the normal layers of the epithelium. Then in the bone we have drawn the osteocyte cells with blue nuclei in the lacunae, and we have drawn some blood vessels, some areas with blood vessels. And then we'll also draw some cells over the surface of the bone, the synthetic cells, that is osteoblasts with blue color, and also some synthetic cells over the surface of the cementum of the tooth, that is with blue color, that those are cementoblasts. So here we have blue osteoblasts, blue cementoblasts, Hertwig's epithelial root sheath cell remnants, these are the fibers. We have also drawn gingival fibers, blood vessels with endothelial cells and RBCs. Then we are drawing collagen fibers, more collagen fibers, fibroblast cells showing their blue nuclei, and those are the fibers. Those are dentinal tubules. So this is gingiva, gingival fibers, alveolar crestal fibers, horizontal fibers, oblique fibers, alveolar bone and cell rest of Malassez in the PDL. So here we are showing the 3 major groups. Now we are showing the apical group of fibers. So to do that we have to draw the apical region. So we'll show 2 outlines first, the root outline and the bone outline. Now we have the cells, osteocytes in the bone and osteoblast over the surface of bone, cementoblast over the surface of root, blood vessels with RBCs inside them, and there we have these apical fibers running from the root to the bone. Along with that we can also show some oblique fibers at the periphery, and then fibroblast cells in between these fibers. Then we can put the color for the root, dentine and cementum. So we have dentine, cementum, cementoblast cells, bone and osteoblast cell, and then we can have these apical fibers here. We can also show oblique fibers. Then there can be root apex and the apical foramen. So that is how you can show the apical fibers. So these 2 diagrams. Now we are coming to the remaining fibers. So we have already discussed the principal fibers. Now let's talk about the remaining fibers. Sharpie's fibers, as we have already discussed, they are the collagen fibers which are embedded into cementum on one side and into the alveolar bone on the other side, as we can see here. So they are said to be terminal ends of principal fibers, terminal ends where they are ending. So they are more numerous but smaller at the cemental end than the bone. Their mineralization is occurring at the right angles to these fibers according to their long axis. In acellular cementum, here these fibers get fully mineralized, whereas in cellular cementum in the apical region and in the bone they are partially mineralized. They are associated with non-collagenous proteins like osteopontin and bone sialoprotein when they get calcified. Now Sharpie's fibers itself can come as a short note for you. Now some of these Sharpie's fiber, can you see here this red fiber starting from here and going, crossing the bone and going to get attached to the cementum of the adjacent PDL? Yes, these fibers are called transalveolar fibers. That is, they pass uninterruptedly through the bone to continue as principal fibers of adjacent PDL. Bone se pass karte hue adjacent PDL mein jaake principal fibers ban gaye. So these are Sharpie's fibers which are called transalveolar fibers. Now intermediate plexus, as the word says, in between in the mid region of the PDL space there is a network. Plexus means network. So as you can see here, so what is this plexus? This is distinct zone in the mid region of PDL space where fibers from the cementum and bone they join. So it is thought to be site of rapid remodeling of the fibers, where fibers are getting formed, getting degraded. But new concept is that this distinct zone is not there, because whole of the periodontal ligament is metabolically active. Everywhere the fibers are getting remodeled, and also once collagen and bone fibers fuse, no plexus can form. Also, highest activity is seen near the terminal ends of fibers, near cementum and bone, and not in the middle. And also it could be an artifact. Fibers may branch, or there may be crimping, a specific type of waviness in the fibers. So that is the recent concept about this intermediate plexus. Now we come to the reticular fibers. They are fine immature collagen fibers made up of type 3 collagen. They stain with silver stains, are gyrophilic, and where they are located in the blood vessels and epithelial cells in their basement membrane. As you can see here, these are the reticular fibers. They are located in the blood vessels and epithelial cells basement membrane. Elastic fibers, they are further of 3 types. Now they can be mature elastic fibers, which are called elastin. Immature are of 2 types, elvanin and oxytolin. Now itself it can be a short note for you, or oxytolin fibers can come as a short note for you. So let's discuss these 3 types. First, the mature fibers. They have microfibrillar component surrounding the amorphous elastin core. So this is elastin core structure surrounded by the microfibrillar component. So where are they present? They are present in walls of blood vessels, in the elastic layer of arterioles and arteries. Second is elvanin fibers. They are bundles of microfibrils embedded in the small amounts of amorphous elastin material. And where they are seen in the gingival ligament, found in the fibers of gingival ligament. Oxytolin fibers, important short note. So they are microfibrillar component only. They are about 0.5 to 2.5 microns diameter. They may appear to have elastin and type 4 collagen, and they run in an axial direction. Very, very important point about these fibers. How they run in axial direction? That means along the long axis of the tooth. Their one end is attached to the cementum or the bone. As we can see here, one end is either in the bone or in the cementum. Then they run axially along the long axis of the tooth, and then they get attached to the blood vessel wall of the blood vessel, where their other end is lying. So does that mean that they have role for blood vessel? Yes, they may have role in supporting the blood vessel. They may also have role in tooth support. That can be important. Viva question: what is the role of oxytolin fibers and what is their direction? Now coming to the secondary fibers, they are located between among the principal fibers. Principal fibers are the main fibers. Then secondary fibers are the second fibers. So these are the secondary fibers. They are non-directional, randomly oriented in different directions. Their function is unknown. They are thought to be, they represent new collagen fibers which have just formed and which have not got incorporated into the main bundles. So they traverse the periodontal ligament space coronoapically along with the vessels and the nerve channels. Then the indifferent fiber plexus. So these are the small collagen fibers with principal fibers, as you can see here, and these fibers, they are running in all directions and forming a network, forming a plexus. Now we have come to the summary of the fibers. So many fibers: collagen fibers, main fibers which form the principal fibers of PDL, Sharpey's fibers, intermediate plexus, elastic fibers, reticular fibers, secondary fibers, indifferent fiber plexus. Elastic fibers can further be mature elastic fibers, elvanin and oxytolin fibers. Now if we have question on principal fibers of PDL, then you have to talk about the 5 major groups: alveolar crestal, horizontal, oblique fibers, apical fibers and interradicular, and these are the histological diagram that you can draw for the principal fibers. Now let's check what have you learned about fibers. So 5 principal fiber groups, very, very important question. Most abundant principal fibers: fibers absent on incompletely formed root, fibers seen in multi-rooted teeth only, Sharpey's fiber embedded on dash on one side and dash on other side, elastic fibers that run in axial direction, what are they called, and intermediate plexus is seen in which region of PDL. So that is all for this video. If you really enjoyed the video, do tap on the like button and share this video with your friends. Keep watching, keep smiling, keep learning. Good luck for your exams. See you in the next video soon. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.